If you're new to sub-D modeling or are struggling with creating clean shading with sub-D, then this video is for you. I'll use a practical example to show you two most important concepts of sub-D modeling, which will instantly improve your modeling skills in Blender. Let's go. Let me show you in practice these two things I want to talk about. We're going to model something simple and you're going to learn on the go, okay? So let's add a circle and we're going to go here and change the number of verts to 12. We don't need more than that. And by the way, I'm going to be using two add-ons, Machine Tools, and I'm going to be using Mira Tools. Both are free, so go ahead and get them. Links in the video description. And I also have a massive video on Machine Tools and how to use it. So, go and watch it. And if you're a complete beginner, go ahead and watch our Jumpstart course, which is free, and it will teach you all the basics of hard surface modeling for Blender. You will learn all the UI, all the tools, everything, and a lot of cool, really neat tricks and important things that's gonna benefit you both in Boolean workflow and sub-D workflow. Okay, so if you want to start Blender journey, or you started recently and you still don't know what the hell's going on, that course is for you. Okay. So let's just nuke these verts because we don't need them. Actually, we don't need these ones too because we're going to be using a mirror. I'm going to be using hard ups mirror, but if you don't have hard ups, you can just go here and add a modifier. Where is it? Somewhere here, mirror. Just get hard ups because, tempo's fugitive, okay? Time is really important and you're losing time if you're not using add-ons. Okay, so E here to extrude it, Alt S to scale it. And I'm going to shift click this one twice to set this vert as an active element. And I'm going to press SY and scale it on Y, and then SX, scale it on X. Because I want to create this kind of like a tapering effect here, okay? Now, first problem we're going to be talking about is edge flow, okay? And that goes to edge loops, but also vert positioning. It's really important in sub-D, okay? In this case, you can see that there is a flow of this curvature here going around, but this edge here, the vertices are kind of misaligned, they're very slanted, okay? So what you want to do, you want to kind of ease off this kind of a transition here and the angle and make them more perpendicular to, to this kind of an edge here, okay? This is going to help tremendously with the edge flow and sort of a shading as well, which is really, really important. Here, we could just GG and collapse this a bit. Cool. So let's select all of it and E and extrude it up. Then select this one G and move it up a little bit on Z axis. Then E again, and we're going to G and move it in here. Now we're gonna rotate it and then scale it. Then E and G and rotate it. It's actually too close, so just move it somewhere here and rotate it and scale it a bit more, and then E and G, right, and scale it, and then Alt A with Machine Tools, and this is Align Pi. You need to enable it in preferences for this to work. Cool, and we're gonna scale this on X-axis, okay? Now here in the on the bottom, what I want to do is I want to move it a little bit higher, okay? It's on the Z-axis, but also want to move it slightly here, so GG, and kind of make it a little bit more fat, maybe not that fat, okay? Something like this. And then grab these two verts, okay, go to back view, shift click this one, Alt A, and align them so they are aligned. Also, this one's a little bit too deep. We're gonna move it out here, or we could select this vert and Alt A and right, okay, and it's gonna get aligned to this vert. Cool, and that's actually pretty neat, all right, awesome. This one could be a little bit wider, so SX and just make it wider. So it kind of goes out and just kind of goes in. This one could be a little bit more narrow. So there you go. Okay, cool, awesome. So with this done, we're gonna press Ctrl 2 and shade smooth, and that's your subdivision. So now let's talk about creating sharp edges in here. If I wanted to create sharp edges here to define this side here, right, I could run edge loops. Now the problem is that if I do that, right, because my topology doesn't wrap around the corner, my edges are routed, to the end of the mesh here and on the bottom, right? And this will create this kind of like a pinching effect here. You see that, right? It looks very squarish. And this corner loses its kind of a charm, right? So this is a no-go, right? So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna actually use a bevel modifier to fix this, okay? So I'm gonna select this edge, this one, and let's just go to occlude this one, and this edge here, this edge, wait a minute, this one, and these two, and I think, and this one, okay, and I think that's it. And we're going to mark them as B weight. So now if you don't have hard ups, go here and go to edge bevel weight, right? Click that, press 1 and enter, which will add a B weight. But if you do have hard ups, which is the way to go, go here to sharpening, it's a control tilde menu, and disable crease and sharp, okay? These are on by default, you don't need them, especially crease. And just keep B weight and just go here, Q mark, and you're done, okay? And now we need to add a bevel, so let's add a bevel, and we need to move it above, okay, above the mirror, so it's got beveled and mirrored. And we need to change the limit method to weight, all right? And there you go, Bob's your uncle. Now I'm gonna add this, let me make it more supple and peachy. So now let's talk about, just don't overdo it, because you can see here it's overlapping. If I press Z when I'm beveling, you can see that the edge is overlapping. Don't do that, because that's going to create a lot of problems, okay, with shading. So now let's talk about problems, right? First problem is this pinching here. I don't know if you can see that. It's probably very faint. Let me add more subdivision, Control 4. You see this shadow here on this edge here? There's a tiny pinching, and this pinching is caused, like here, see that? This edge is actually coming. See, look at this. There's like a bulge here. See that? And it dips in. This is caused by this corner, okay? This corner, right? Because the topology doesn't wrap around the corner. So we need to fix this, all right? So the first thing we're going to be working on is edge flow. And edge flow is super important in sub D. If you're not going to learn edge flow and you're not going to practice it, and your edge flow going to be shit, so will be your shading and your shapes, okay? So if you're really going to get good at sub D, you need to learn edge flow, okay? There's no other way around it. Let me just lower this to 2 and turn it off for a second so I can see what the hell I'm doing. And we're going to run this here, right? And combine them here and just press, J here. This is a bit too high, so GG and slide it down. And let's look at this here. Let's just make it a bit smaller. Peachy, that's good. All right. So now if I'm going to, because these are n-gons, right? If I'm going to route this here to the top, so let me actually just run a loop here like this. Okay, and I'm gonna combine these two, J, right? And I'm gonna combine these two, J. And then we can either run the loop down or we can run to the side. Now going to the bottom here, we'll create a denser topology here than here. And this can ruin the curvature, all right? So quality and size of topology and also ratio of topology that's sort of a neighboring or like adjacent topology is the second secret of, good sub D, okay? So if I created small topology here and larger here, I guarantee you that this is going to be smooth and this is going to be kind of, this part is going to be more flat and this one's going to be more smooth. So if I'm going to run this edge here, I'll show you, right? Like this. And I'm going to turn it on. Look, see how flat this became? This is because this edge, okay, is in the middle and we need to readjust this entire mesh here. But this will cause other problems down the line. So we need to fix this whole mesh now, okay? So first of all, let's try to create a more or less uniform topology, because you see like you have this oblong quads in here. We don't want that, okay? We want them to be more or less uniform. So let's move this up a little bit. This one too, right? Move these ones a little bit lower. Move this one's higher. What you can also do when you move stuff around, you can go to Machine Tools and enable Surface Slide. This will allow you to move vertices without actually pressing G twice, okay? Because it will slide on the surface. So if I grab this vert and I'm going to slide it down, right? In this case, it's there's a mirror going on here, so you want to be careful. But if I'm going to grab this one and slide it down, I can slide it on the surface without disturbing the curvature too much, okay? So you can use a surface slide if you want to. It's gonna be easier to actually use a GG here because I'm moving the whole, the whole loop. Let's just drop another loop here, and this should do. And let me just see here. We need to run a loop here. Hang on a second. Not here. Here. So we need to run a loop here. So there's a quad, perfect. And we also need a loop here. Okay. So let's just run a loop on this edge here, like that. Combine them here and combine them here. Okay. Cool. So now more or less we're fine, but there are gonna be problems and you will see them in a minute. So if I'm gonna go to the solid view, you can clearly see that, well, this is a problem here too because we didn't clean that, but let's just clean that very quickly. I forgot to clean these edges. So dissolve edges, there we go. And also we need to grab this edge here and auto merge it to the top. So there's a quad, okay, cool. So now if you look at the side here, right? You can clearly see that there is a flat surface here, okay? And again, this is caused by we placed an edge loop in between existing edge loops, okay? So this is going to create a flat spot. So what you want to do is you want to move them, right, the whole loop, to recreate this curvature. Here's a flat spot here too, see that? This place here, look, there's a flat spot. So I want to move it out like that, right? And by the way, we need to combine these edges here, because this one is there's an edge here but doesn't connect to anything. So I just grab a loop here, combine these two with J. We're gonna move this loop a little bit higher, this one higher too, okay, GG, and this one higher, so here, okay. And now we need to fix this. So so the size of these quads is more or less the same. So here we have more of a kind of a edge flow problem, right? So what you want to do is you want to more or less align them straight, right? You want to keep this edge flow as undisturbed as possible, okay? Because this will all reflect on the quality of your shading, okay? So just GZ, actually GG is fine here. That's fine, okay. Okay, see, like on this side, you see that? It's slanted. I'll grab this whole loop and just Alt-R and kind of rotate it like this, okay? And if you don't have this tool, just simply do it manually, right? Same here, look at this, you see that? Alt-R and just rotate it, boom, right? You want it to be more or less perpendicular to the edge, okay? It's just a better edge flow, all right? And these tiny changes will really impact how your mesh looks, right? Like here, for example, you see these two massive quads. They're too big, so we need to kind of fix them a little bit, all right? So what we need to do is we need to move this one down a bit, right? Down a bit, okay? And this one a little bit lower. And then you got this transition, okay, from a larger quad to a smaller quad, right? And then this one could be a little bit closer to the edge as well, to be honest, all right? All right. Another way of, restoring the curvature, if you, mess with your curvature too much, okay, and your curvature is kind of disturbed, what you can do, you can actually use, mirror tools. So we're going to be using mirror tools on the bottom. So here you see that my curvature is messed up in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this entire loop here, okay, entire loop. And in fact, you know what, I could just move these a little bit here like that. I think it's going to be better. And yeah, there we go. And then I'm going to select this loop here, so from here to here by verts, and I'm going to go to mirror tools, and we're going to be using curve stretch, okay? So click that thing, and with your wheel mouse, you can you can select number of points and click, and then you're going to see these blue points, and you can move them to rebuild the curvature the way you want. Right, I want something like this here, and you click and right click and you're done. Here too, same thing, curve stretch, boom. And it's gonna flex this, it's gonna flex this entire curve, and it's gonna just look a little bit better, okay? You see that? Look, boom, it's beautiful, right? And that's power of mirror tools. And you can see that, now it looks really decent. There's still, I think, this could be moved a little bit this way to create a bit more of a even transition, even size of these quads here. and I think the shading gonna be better. But you can see clearly here that we have this flat spot because of this loop here in the middle. So what we can do, we can select that loop, go to solid view, right? Alt S, and we can just kind of move it outside, kind of inflate it. Just don't move it above this edge here, right? So we can restore this curvature here, you see, manually, right? Just a little bit more, something like that. Boom, and look at that. And it's not flat anymore, okay? And there you go. So now let's sum it up, okay? What you need for sub D, first of all, is to understand, you know, the edge flow, okay? Edge flow is really important. So make sure that your edge flow is actually, you know, on point, right? Then try to create more or less, right, even size topology, okay? You can occasionally have n-gons, especially in spots that don't matter, or like, for example, are flat. For instance, if I remove this edge here, nothing changes. Do you see what I mean? I got an n-gon in here, right? It doesn't matter because it's a flat surface, and I have a bevel holding the whole structure. So you need to think and use your brain before you embrace all the nonsense that people are spewing on the internet saying you need to have all quads. It's not true, you don't. Even companies like Pixar, you know, they're using n-gons on a bend, on a deformable mesh. As long as you can't see them, it's fine. It's all about, you know, saving time and basically creating as light mesh as possible, right? Especially for animations. So you need to know where to use and what to use and why you're using it, okay? And if you're gonna know the purpose of topology and you understand how it all works, and you can understand this by practicing, then you're good to go. You see, like I still have a dip here. I can see that this kind of a shading problem. It's tiny, but I think it's caused by one of these verts, this one, being of this quad is of a very weird shape. Okay, that's the problem. I wonder if introducing a triangle here would actually cause problems. Let me just see. Yes, it will, because it's actually a bent surface. Okay, so we need a different solution. All right. So let's think here. This probably could be lower like this, right? We could drop this one down a little bit like that, okay? And I think it's gonna be fine. Move this one just tiny bit higher, and I think this is gonna help. Also here, what we could do is move this one a little bit to the left and this one as well, which will kind of make this, you know, quad here a bit less insane, okay? Boom, like that. Then we could move this one to the, in fact, the whole loop could be moved to the left a little bit. And then this one, GG, like that. And let's see if we didn't mess anything up from the bottom. I think we're fine. We could just push it a little bit outside here. Boom, there we go. And that's much better. Look at this. It's flawless right now, right? There you go. So tiny movements and tiny fixes gonna, you know, allow you to create something really cool. And now if you wanted to, for example, make a cut in it, right? So let me just power save this. So now let's talk about how we would actually Boolean this, because you can use Boolean workflow with sub-D, no problem. So we're gonna go to edit mode and we're gonna enable box cutter and we're gonna slice it here, maybe like this, right? I'm using existing topology to guide me through cutting booleans, okay? So if I'm going to move this boolean to the top here and apply it, you have to apply them in object mode. It will not work in edit mode. Also, this mirror should be here on the top. Wait a minute. Let me just move the mirror first and then the boolean under the mirror. There we go. And then we're gonna apply the boolean here. So apply, okay, cool. And in fact, let's apply the mirror too, because it's gonna cause me problems with the boolean. And then I'm gonna mirror this again. So Alt X and mirror. Blender is fun like that. All right, so here we're going to combine these. And now here you see we have an angle, so we need to kind of route this a little bit lower like that, okay? And combine these two with a J, okay? And this is going to create a flow around this cut, yeah? Same situation, right? Let's just turn this off, combine it here, should be fine. And then just, you know, we can Alt X to the other side, whatever. And this should be fine, guys. And now let's see, we just turn on the sub D, perfect. And now we're going to grab this edge here, right? and we're gonna apply the bevel weight to it. All right, so let's just run it all the way up here, and this one too, and mark. Right, so when I'm gonna go to subdivision, and I can see that the bevel is overshooting, so I need to lower the bevel a little bit. There we go. And there is some problem here, and the problem here is caused by the fact that these faces, I mean these verts are not connected, so I need to just simply connect them to create quads, yeah. And there you go. And I think here we're fine. That's perfect. Now, if you wanted to, you could add a bevel here as well. All right, it's gonna sharpen this corner. No problem, it's gonna look really clean. And the reason being is because we have this topology wrapping around here again. If you run a loop here, you will see that, right? So anyway, guys, that's it. This is how you create really cool shapes using sub-D. You need to pay attention to the edge flow and also to the size and quality of your topology, and you know how the topology transitions from one area to another. That's really important. So for instance, if I'm transitioning from larger polygons to smaller ones, I'm gonna do it gradually, etc. Right? Like this one, for example, I think should move a little bit to the middle. Okay, it's a little bit too close over there to this edge. So GG, and just move it a little bit to this side. Yeah. Okay, see that like there's a wobble here? I'm gonna fix it to make it flow smoothly, and I think it's gonna be peachy. There you go. Awesome. Alright guys, well that's it for this one, and like I said, if you're a beginner, you're interested in learning Blender, all the basics and more, there is a free course for you called Jumpstart Hard Surface in Blender. It's on our website. Get it because it's fucking amazing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.